The Ford Kuga hasn't had the best press lately, thanks to a combination of self-immolation and some bad PR management. But now the company is hoping to put all that behind them with the launch of the updated Kuga. The burning question is, can it turn the model's fortunes around? There are a lot of sad parts to the Kuga's story of late, and one of them is that despite what many angry consumers will tell you, it generally isn't a bad car. In fact, it's a great car, one that we spent a lot of time with in 2014 when we had a 2-litre diesel titanium spec Kuga on a long-term test. It was a good-looking, well-specced and versatile SUV with an enjoyable drive, so there wasn't too much that needed fixing. Still, Ford have felt the need to fix a lot. The styling updates are so comprehensive that you'd be forgiven for thinking that that is an all-new Kuga. The changes have bulked things up a little bit, made it more chunky, more Ford-looking. And that's a good thing if you're a Ford fan, but it also means the Kuga has lost some of its charm. In front, the redesigned grille and headlights give a big brother to the EcoSport kind of feel, while the back makes it clear that it's closely related to that other Ford SUV, the Everest. Neither of which are bad, it just means the Kuga is no longer as individual looking as it used to be. We really enjoyed our time with the long-term Kuga we had, and a large part of that was because of its interior, the changes to which are a lot more restrained than they are on the outside. From a design and a usability point of view, the easiest way to describe what Ford has done in here is they've cleaned things up. It used to be a button-heavy setup that worked when you figured out where everything was. Now there's more functionality and it's all easier to use. The major changes are a reworked infotainment system with a simplified interface, a bigger screen, and the latest generation of Ford's Sync voice command system, which now has navigation as an option. If you prefer, you can also get Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. The center console has been neatened up, the parking brake is now electronic, and the materials all round are as good as they ever were. Space is similarly unchanged. It's a cabin that has decent room in each corner, and it'll pack 1,600 litres with the rear seats down. No doubt hunting for sales in the SUV market is tough. It's a popular category with a lot of options from a lot of manufacturers. And on top of that, Ford has to try win back some ground after, well, let's just call them the incidents. Ford says the issue was exclusively the domain of their 1600 motor, which was discontinued in the Kuga a while ago. And that means the updated Kuga dodges that incendiary issue by offering a 2-litre diesel and 1500 turbo petrol with a combination of automatic or manual gearboxes, front or all-wheel drive. We've got the 1500 with a 6-speed automatic, and that means you get more power than the manual, 132 kilowatts as opposed to 110, and a gearbox that likes to hunt quite a lot. And it feels like a combination of the software not being too sure at times, and the higher gears being a little bit too tall for this engine. On the open road, anything more than a reasonable incline will get the gearbox dropping a gear and most times dropping a second one. It's better at lower speeds where the shifts are quick and unobtrusive. Higher up the model range, the Kuga is available with all-wheel drive. The 1500 makes do with front-wheel drive only. Even without it, the Kuga handles itself very well indeed. Good steering, decent front-end grip deliver a surprising amount of confidence. And now that Ford have put shift pedals in as part of the automatic gearbox setup, you find yourself the right road and you can actually have some fun. On more ordinary roads, the ride setup is comfortable without being too soft. The optional 18-inch wheels on our test car occasionally made things a little noisy, but on the whole, the Kuga was a very nice thing to pilot en route from East London to Port Alfred. And that's one thing the update hasn't changed about the Kuga. Almost regardless of where you are on the road, it is a good drive. Banishing the fire-breathing 1600 petrol motor from the Kuga may have gone some way to restoring people's faith in the model, But the updates with its more chunky styling and improved interior ergonomics should also help its cause. The combination of a 1500 petrol motor and a 6-speed automatic gearbox may not be the slickest on the market, but the Kuga certainly still has the space, the spec and a surprisingly enjoyable drive to make it a worthwhile package. The 1500 turbo petrol motor in the Kuga is good enough to shift things along nicely, but the auto gearbox isn't always as impressive, often hunting for gears on steeper inclines. The Kuga has a comfortable ride setup that turns surprisingly sporty when you start pushing it. With improved ergonomics and similar levels of spec and space, the Kuga remains a very good option in its class.